Hi, Pat.
Hi, Tim.
We're here
What?
before the professor.
I don't see you.
I have it covered. So,
Oh, okay. The last minute. Oh, there you
oh
are.
yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
And and Heather's not coming. She's at a Aztec game.
Oh, okay.
She
Okay.
texted me, so I don't have to tell.
I think that was the trade she did because she wants David to come with her tomorrow night.
Mhm.
So, anyway, if everyone shows up, we'll have a full table. Yeah, so I'm going to be down about 4. I'll bring Tom with me, and we're going to take the flag and the pole and stand down. I don't know where
Mhm.
they're going to the the houses that didn't have cottages, they have been putting their flags in the Hall of Nations, but we don't need to haul it over there and then haul it back.
Mm-mm.
So just FYI, I'm going to bring the square, and we can, if people want to pay by
I still
check.
have checks.
Okay, good. Okay. Oh, here's the professor.
Here I
Some.
am.
Oh,
I'm on show.
Gleva.
Okay. Kimra Hula Dunya.
Hmm. Tommy, fur. I'm cold.
Fur.
Oh.
Yep.
Little fur. Hami Dillich. Let me Dillich. Okay. Okay.
Not as cold as you are, but it's cold.
Yeah.
The Mythic Arken Autumn. So,
Heather is at a
Aztec
basket.
game, so she's not here today.
at a what?
A Aztec game. I
Oh,
think it's
Ascot.
basketball. I think I'm not sure.
Basketball. Yeah.
All Kosick, is that how you say it?
Ball
Yeah,
kosher.
ball Kozik.
Ball
Yeah.
kosher. Well, that would be soccer, what we
Oh,
call soccer.
soccer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Football,
About
ball,
baskets.
kosher. Yeah.
Basket.
Ball
About
bus,
baskets.
ball
That's what
basket.
Duolingo calls it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ball
I have
basket.
to use what they say.
ball basket.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost a direct translation. Oh, for you. Yeah. Now, Aztec. Aztec.
Yeah, that's the San Diego.
Basketball
Used to
team.
be San Diego State. Now
Oh,
we put it.
San Diego
When,
State.
Uh,
yeah, back
but
Oh,
we
in
just
the
call them Aztecs.
70s, but
oh,
they had to change it when it got too big. So they call it California State, no,
This is
University
SDSU.
of San Diego.
SDSU. Yeah, San
Yeah,
Diego State University.
that's San Diego. Okay, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Okay.
Instead of UCSD at you know, UC Berkeley, UCSD, UC. So this is
All right.
just SDSU. But there's
Okay.
one in there's an BSU, a Bakersfield State University. There's a several others. I think San Marcos is this, so it'd be SMSU. That's just up there by
Yeah, yeah.
Oceanside,
Uh-huh.
inland from Oceanside.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of newer.
yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of Cal States
Mhm.
around the state.
Uh-huh.
What in a few UCs.
But the difference in the Cal State that is just California State, like Fresno, I think, is it's not as big. So they had to deal with having these state colleges bigger than state, the University of California. And then it all became a money thing. This was in the 70s when I graduated. It was started, the real big discussion and debate and all was in 71 when I started there. And when I finally um, graduated, Well, in 73, it had changed and it was no longer San Diego State College. It was San Diego State University. And the governor that signed my BS diploma
Uh-huh.
was Ronald Reagan.
Oh, okay.
So many times people would look it up. I mean, they'd have to be my age, but they would see it. I used to have it displayed. I don't anymore. But they would say, "Oh, look at this."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, he's the one who raised tuition for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
Hey, but Tim, do you have good news on the raising of the taxes of the park?
Oh, because they
Well,
were going to try to make it Sundays, but no. And next month they're going to talk about for residents, but they don't have enough people. The council, they don't have enough.
so we've got them on the run. There's enough
Man,
people in the city that are contacting their city council person and saying, how unfair it is, how it's not what it should be, how it's being really heavy-handed, exclusive, uh, and the programs on the computer to buy don't work.
it's horrible.
And James and I went down to the city treasurer yesterday and walked away empty-handed from trying to buy a parking pass. Now, Tim, he was successful at it. I
But I
think.
got stuck too. I got stuck too, so I had to have the city treasurer to email me to help me.
Oh, well, we didn't have that. We just had to leave. So, anyway, we're hoping that maybe with all of this, community pressure that's gone on and no one going to the park anymore, it's really a shame. But I think people are boycotting it to tell them, hey, figure out something else,
What is attendance at the park falling off?
Oh yeah.
Oh, a big time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the problem is that they do have some businesses. There's a really nice restaurant, the Prado. It's really suffering.
Uh,
Um, the art museums are suffering. There's the Old Globe Theater
oh, yeah, that's
is
right.
suffering.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different
Well, $15 is really high.
yeah, it's
Yes.
ridiculous.
I mean, if it were more reasonable, I mean,
And the machines cost $5,400 and they bought them. And somebody's damaged some of them. So that's a lot of money to put out for all these machines.
what, the parking machine?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
those-
$5,400. And people damaged
pay,
them already.
yeah, pay stations.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't rent them, which makes sense.
So Pat and Tim, what's happening tomorrow night?
Oh, okay. So the House of Scotland, well, all of the international cottages have a big ceremony when they get new presidents, and you have to, and this is the city's decree that this take place, and so the presidents have to all be there at one time, and you have to take this oath, and it's quite a big thing. And in the past, it used to have kind of be very formal with live band and dancing and drinking and all. But now they have to really twist our arms to get there. But so anyway, we're having a big show out for the House of Scotland. We have a table of 10. Our new president, Steve Holcomb, he flew in from Scotland yesterday. He's been there a month. And so his wife came earlier and she got all of their kilts ready. And I think every man there is going to be dressed in kilts. So I always said that, you know, a woman cannot outdress a man in a full kilt outfit. You cannot outdress it. Maybe Marilyn Monroe maybe could have, but really you just can't. So it's easy. You just put on a, simple black dress, wear comfy shoes, and put a sash and walk on, walk in. But I think most of the cultures and countries that are going to be there, and there's going to be almost 30 of them. It's going to be a big crowded place. But so it's $70. The House pays for the new president and the new vice president. I'm going to buy the president's wife, his spouse. I'm going to buy her ticket. I'm so grateful that he's doing it, and she's going to have to help, I'm sure. So I'm going to buy their ticket and my ticket and so anyway, I don't know what the food is, but for the first time in many years, maybe a decade, the location is there, right there in Balboa Park. So they contracted this venue that's kind of in back of the cottages. It's an old building called the Balboa. What is it, Tim? The Balboa Park Club.
Yes.
Balboa Park Club. And so they couldn't get out of it. They to get a good deal on it, but now of course everyone is going to have to pay parking. It starts at 5. The parking becomes free after 8. By then we'll all be gone home probably. So I don't know. It could be that all of us just don't pay. We'll see how many true Scots there are. I don't know. We'll see. That's what's going on tomorrow. We'll see.
And Saturday we're going to find out where they're going to have the Highland Games and what dates. Because they sent an announcement today to make a big thing for Saturday.
Oh, good.
Okay, yeah.
We think it's June 20th, but they have to tell us.
Yeah.
But it's coming. I tell you next week.
Yeah, I talked to James Monday, and he said they just haven't signed the contracts yet, and so they didn't want to announce it until the contracts were
So
signed.
I think they did today, so that's why it's Saturday that they're going to tell.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good.
We thought they were going to announce it at their
Robbie Burns night, but they didn't.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Oh well. Cool. You. All right. Well. Bill. Naik Ayla. Ik doen je be. Anybody else have any news? Lisa. D. Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, why don't we take a look at what we got? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Gaeltacht Nishar Gaelic Vriesja Naveerlich Liesja. Okay. So here's the piper. So keeping with the theme of the week, and we'll get to what that's all about. But anyway, so a pieperich and een kunje Deirdre is Neusja. Deirdre is Neusja. All right. Okay. You got and een kunje. All right. And all right. Okay. Clàr na Shechina, we'll do Fàilte, Shenachel, Gràmar na Shechina. So we'll take a look at adjectives. Sgeulachdan na Shechina. So we have a couple stories for us. Òran na Shechina. Mise dhan taigh. I think that should be càraideach. Okay. Yeah. Obair Ghachi. Okay.
homework.
Okay. And I've got another video posted for us on YouTube. Okay, so here's an interesting little video for us. Just a short one.
What do we actually mean by
Can you hear that?
Yes.
All right.
Scotland? When the Romans first arrived in Scotland, neither the natives nor the Romans called it that. The Scots, or Scotti in Latin, were a tribe who were originally from Ireland. They were first attested in a Roman list of barbarian peoples considered a threat to the empire. It wasn't until the 4th to 5th century that the Scots from modern-day Ireland started to migrate to what we call Scotland today. By this point, the Romans had abandoned Britain, and their Western Empire was in the process of tearing itself to bits. You may have heard about the Picts, or Picti in Latin. This means painted ones, because they would cover themselves in blue woad. Picti, just like Scotti, is a Roman word used to describe these barbarian tribes. They didn't call themselves this until much, much later, well after the Roman Empire collapsed. What do we actually mean by Scotland? When the Roman...
All right, there we go. Just a little video.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just a little taste of ancient history. And it's interesting. Let's see. No, where are we? Okay, and it's interesting that the guy uses the term barbarian, which is actually a word from Greek. And it essentially, well, we think of it as meaning savage or uncivilized or something like that. And even though the Greeks might have thought of people like that, it essentially means somebody who didn't speak Greek. And so so the Greeks called everybody who didn't speak Greek a barbarian. And so it was less a judgment about the status of their civilization or their society than it was just simply that they weren't so advanced that they spoke Greek. But anyway, but the Greeks and the Romans were notorious for believing anybody who wasn't them were uncivilized, were barbarians. So anyway, but they never conquered Scotland. So anyway, okay, Shanach and Shekina. Is mean a mean oh government listen. Is mean a mean the gran. Is mean a menahan the fear. Okay. Meal is finer than grain, and that's meal as in flour, finer than grain, that is in the unground grain, the wheat. Women are finer than men. Okay. So that's so Alexander Nicholson, in his book of Gaelic Proverbs, write, I don't know any other national collection of proverbs that speaks of women so respectfully as the Gaelic ones do. They are not wanting in humor, but they never regard women as inferior and mere causes of mischief, which is the point of view of the proverbs of several great nations, including, I might add, those from the Bible. And from the very beginning, we know, the mythologies of the Bible blame women for everything, from from Eve eating the apple to the end of time. So anyway, the Gaels had a different view. It's mean a mean the gran. It's mean a menahan na fear. And so this does a couple things. One, it sets up this this parallel. Okay, so as much finer than grain as flour are women than men. So so you can think about that. Anyway, language notes. Ismina. 3 things here. Is the assertive verb to be, the other way to say that something is. And what we have here is when you use the assertive verb with an adjective at the beginning of a sentence, it really emphasizes it. Okay. Mina is the comparative for mean, fine. Mina, translated as finer. Okay. And then is finer meal than grain. So the use of the assertive verb and the placement of the comparative adjective first emphasizes the statement. Okay, the normal, what might be called the normal phrasing is hamanahan nasmina nafir. Women are finer than men. Okay, but this places a double emphasis on the statement. Okay, Gaelic syntax, the the rules of Gaelic grammar and syntax allow us to do that. So, so we'll get to that one of these days, how to shift the syntax. Menahan is a plural for ben. Okay, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it's related to ben or woman. Okay, but it is. It's the plural for it, menan. And fear is the plural for fair, which is another word for man. I'll put aside from dunya. All right. Okay. Now fair. Okay. All right. Okay. And fair can also be used. I think we've talked about this. Fair can also be used in terms of one. Okay. Something that's one, as in one of those. Okay. If the thing that you're pointing at is a masculine noun, right? Right. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so menan is plural.
Manan.
Manan,
Okay.
manan
Yeah.
is plural for vein.
For what?
This is bean for bean.
Ben.
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 B-E-N.
Yeah.
Okay. And but is it plural meaning women? It just says woman and Ben.
Oh no, yeah, no. Ben is the singular woman. Okay. Manahan is women.
Okay. Yes,
Okay,
now
so
I
Manahan
understand.
is
Yeah,
the
that makes
plural
it
for
clear.
Ben. Yeah. Ben equals woman and
Yeah.
can be either a woman or a wife. Okay. So
Yes.
okay. So Manahan is women, the plural.
Okay.
Woman's. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. And grammar and a shekina. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. The Gaelic adjective with a definite noun. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So here we have, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know if we need that. Anyway, I'll just get started. Okay. All right. Two separate switches. So the adjective undergoes two separate switches. Okay. And in many common phrases, the adjective is lenited because of the noun phrase. Okay. So after a feminine singular noun, the adjective is usually lenited. So we've already seen this, so we've learned this. Okay. And this is certainly in what's called the nominative, that is the normal state. Okay. On Crec Vor, the big rock, Creg being feminine, on Nian Glich, the wise girl, on La Riel, the white hand. Okay. Now, in the definite, and I'll put prepositional / dative. And very often in all grammar books and references, you'll see reference to the dative. And but in Gaelic, I think it's more informative to refer to this as the prepositional. That is the noun that comes after a preposition. Okay, like on or in or at or something like that. Okay, so avalek vek. Okay, avalek vek, on the small boy. Okay, avalek vek. Okay, so so that's the first change that we're talking about. Okay, the lenition. The second change is the shape of the adjective itself. Okay, and adjectives sometimes show slenderization. All right, so they slenderize. Okay, so here's an example. Right, so on the noun, the common adjective would be more. yeah, the singular adjective would be vor for feminine. Okay, anian vor, the big girl, but it'd be ambalic more, the big boy. Genitive would be vor for masculine, and morda for feminine. But note that both of these take an insert. So in the masculine takes on a lenition. So the feminine is lenited in the nominative case, in the normal case, but the masculine is lenited in the genitive. And both in the genitive, both are slenderized, and then the dative or the prepositional is for the masculine is not changed, but the feminine is changed on both ends. Vorth. Okay. All right, got that. And this should be Edavalic Beck. Okay. All right. Okay. And then the one thing to note for the plural, single syllable adjectives take on an addition. Okay. Mora, but not more than one syllable. Okay. No adding to more than one syllable for the adjective. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's a couple phrases. Ambalamore, the big town, Bala being masculine. Akrekvor, that should be Akrekvor, the big rock. Krek being feminine, and so it's lenited. Nabalchan Mora, the big towns. Okay, Mora. Right? So, okay, so here we have again, Bort More, the big table. Akrekvor, Naburst Mora. Okay, the big tables. Okay, Naburst Mora. Right? And the prepositional, Edavort More. Okay, you go back up here. No, that's not right. Edavort More. Okay, Edavort More on the big table. Edakrekvor. So that's right. Okay, so we have that. And Naburst Mora on the big tables. Mora. Right? Okay. And Kas Verst Vor, the leg of the big table. Da Nakrekamora, the color of the big rock. Okay, Nakreka, that's the genitive for krek. Okay. And so note that in the genitive, the masculine takes on the lenition and the feminine loses the lenition, and kasen abort mora. Okay, so mora, the legs of the big table, right? Okay. All right, so some adjectives don't slenderize. They're already slender, like gleek. You can't make it any more slender than it is. Okay? Okay. But you can add it's single syllable, so you can add glika. Okay? Okay. And right here, you see, so, and this is the suffix that is added. Glich becomes glika. Right? So Ambalek Glich, the wise boy, Anin Glich, the wise girl, Nabalich Glicha, the wise boys. Right? Okay. And that and prepositional, Belesh Avalech Glich, the wise boy. Okay. Okay. Leis ní an gclích, with the wise girl. I don't know why that has that. Okay. Leis na bailich gclíche. Okay, with the wise boys. All right. Okay. Okay. Genitive corla of alich, the advice of the wise boy. Okay. Corla nanian glicha, the advice of the wise girl. Okay. And corla nambalich glicha, the advice of the wise boys. Okay, so we've got two different switches here. Okay. And then something to be aware of, so some adjectives don't just add an I in the genitive. They change the stem. They change the vowels in between. Like gel, this is an example. So you see, you can't really say, oops, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. You see, you can't really, to slenderize this, you can't really add an I there. That that doesn't work. So what happens is for the genitive, you have gil. So in some words you have the whole inside of the word changes, and the feminine singular would be gila. Okay, and dative would be gel or gil. Okay, so and feminine singular would be heel. All right. All right. So, and then in the plural would be gela. Okay. But that's a pattern. And so, so sometimes you just you switch out an I for especially if you have, what's called a diphthong, two vowels together. Okay. So, Antushka Gel, the clear of the white water. An lav gel, the white hand. Da an ushka gil, the color of the clear water. All right? All right. Okay. And prepositional, be ounce an ushka gel, in the clear white water. Okay. Should be gel, ounce an ushka gel. Erachloich gil, on the white stone. Okay. Lesh nahun nahigela, with the white birds. Okay, and that should not be lenited. Okay. Oh, yes, it should. There's another rule for that too. Okay. So anyway, so da anushka gil. Lesh. Oh yeah. No, that's not lenited. Okay. All right. So anyway, so yeah. Da anushka gil, the color of the white water. Da nachloicha gila, the color of the white stone. And da nahyun gela, the color of the white birds. All right. Okay. So this becomes easy. Multi-syllable adjectives do not add anything to the end. Okay. Andunya berstach, anien verstach. Okay, so you have the lenition, okay, the rich girl, the donya berstach, the rich people. Okay, so there's no I added. All right. Okay. All right. So, okay. So that's a lot to digest. Any questions?
That is a lot.
Yeah. It gets pretty quick, pretty tricky. It gets pretty tricky. Yeah.
So, there's regular and irregular verbs, right, that we've studied, and isn't there like 12 or 15 or 10 that are irregular and the others are regular? Wasn't that one of their first rules?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 irregular verbs. Yeah.
Okay. So for these tricky little things, are there 10 or are there any number depending on their own little thing? Is there
Well, no,
rule?
they all sort of follow these rules.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So here, I'm gonna.
I was just curious if it was that defined or not.
No, but here's something that's useful. Okay. I'm going to show you this if I can figure out how to. All right, so hold on one second. I'm trying to call this up. All right. Now I've got to share the screen again. Okay. I find this to be very helpful, this little table. This is from Colin Mark. So you see, what is helpful sometimes in remembering these things is that uh, you remember a specific example.
Mm-hmm.
Rules. So I went through the rules, but we have a specific example. And the thing to do is right now not to bother with the exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry too much about the exceptions, though. Okay. Oh, I do have a list of irregular adjectives. Again, from Colin and Mark, and I'll share those with you. So here's some irregular adjectives. Okay, so what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, so maybe 30 irregulars, though these are mostly comparative. Oh, so those don't help. Okay, it's not what we're talking about. Anyway, all right, let's go back here. Okay, so so you can remember this. So first, the easy one, the plural, mora. Remember, adding the A at the end, or sometimes the E if it's a slender, is only pertains to single syllable adjectives, one syllable adjective. Okay, so not if it has two or more syllables. Okay, and then okay, so we know this from a long time ago. More and vor, the lenition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the feminine. And then note what happens with the masculine. Vor, they switch. Vor becomes mora, okay, in the feminine. So the feminine loses the lenition and adds the E on the end, but has the slenderization, the I, moira, okay? And then dative goes back to the regular form. So masculine becomes a little easy, okay? Because nominative and dative are the same, more, okay? Okay? It's the genitive that changes. And then the feminine dative becomes vorth, okay? Okay, vorth, okay? Okay, so that changes. That goes back to the that goes back to the lenited form, but also it's slenderized. Okay, all right. So I found it very helpful to remember this and call it up. So whenever I'm trying to figure out what the proper inflection for the adjective is, I I kind of mentally picture this table. Okay. Okay, so that's helpful for me. Yeah, to remember one example and everything else is based on that. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So, all right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's a list of the words that we're going to be working with. Bort, plural, bursht, krek, genitive kreka, balach, genitive balich, nian, genitive nian, ushka, genitive ushka, that's easy. Okay. Cloch, prepositional and genitive, cloich, or cloicha.
Okay.
Yun for bird, yon for plural, kas and kasen, da for color, and korla for advice. Okay, now I'll make a little note here. So, do we know why is the genitive plural ian? Do you remember that rule? Maybe we should go back over that one of these days. Okay, so the rule is, I'll put it down here. I'll just summarize it. Genitive plural. Okay, so there's two things. When nominative, that's the normal plural, equals the plus an or ean, then genitive plural equals regular plural, okay? And a couple examples. Okay, so all right, so what do we got? To do clocking. Okay, clocking. Okay. The plural for clock or stone, right? Okay. So I could say da non clocking. Okay. For plural. Color of the stones. What else has a an plural? Okay, let's see. Bala, city or town. So Munchir, the people, none, num, balchin. Okay, so and the plural, and that's the regular plural. Okay, regular plural. Okay. But when nominative plural, that's the regular plural, does not equal the plus an or ean, then genitive plural equals singular. Okay, and I'll give you a couple of examples here. Okay, so one that comes to mind is boranach. The plural is boranich. So the guan nam boranach. Okay, the voices of the women, but but it goes back to the singular because you don't have an EAN at the ending. Okay. Let's see. Can I think of another one? What's another one? That doesn't have an AN ending. Eon. Okay. Eon and Eon. Bir birds. Okay. So it would be oh, Gaelic, non Ian. Okay. Singing of the birds. Okay, so here I'm going to make this. It goes back to it goes back to the singular. Ian. Okay. Okay, so that's that rule. All right. Okay. All right. So this is a reminder. Okay. All right. So here's a question for you. Would it be helpful if we went back over the rules for the genitive? Not tonight, but like in a future lesson. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Please.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'll make a note of that. We'll do that.
Mhm.
And then would it be helpful if along those lines, would it be helpful if we went back over the rules for the? Remember that there's 60 different ways that you
Yes.
can frame the. Would it be helpful for us to do that?
Yeah.
I think so.
We'll do that then. Okay. So anyway, all right. Well, that makes things easy for me because every week I rack my brains. What can I teach this week? I don't. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, all right. Good. Okay. All right. So so that's a. All right. So we'll do that. Yeah. I'll devise lessons for those. Okay. And well, let's continue with the adjectives
Yeah.
tonight. Okay. And then we'll circle back and we will take a look in future weeks. We'll take a look at the rules for the genitive and the rules for the. Okay. Maybe we'll do it the other way around. Maybe we'll do the first. Because like I said, there's 60 different ways that you can frame a the, and it depends, just a little preview. It depends on do we know what the different thes are?
Well,
And
Yeah, very
uh-huh.
good. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The different thes. Okay. Okay. Those. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have on, what do we got? Let me do this. Okay. On,
Ah.
okay. What else do we have? Na,
Nah.
na. And if you want to count it, na, H. Okay.
Mhm.
So that would be a subset, okay? But you have on T, okay?
Mhm.
Na, non, and nom, okay? So those are the different thes, and this is non and nom is of the and of the plural, okay? Plural, okay? Two different ways to frame of the plural, okay? So anyway, so on T, uh, oh, na, not H, yeah, right. Okay, so we have that. Oh, yeah, so those are just the thes. And so the in Gaelic is determined by what are the things that determine what the would look like? You remember?
The big fat member part, BMP.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. The mother
Other,
bakes fine pies. Okay.
uh-huh.
Uh and uh and uh and generally speaking, uh first letter of the first letter of the noun, including mother bakes fine pies, okay, and including that. Okay, so generally speaking, the first letter of the noun, what I call the onset. Okay, right. So okay, what else?
First letter.
What's the
It's a
major thing?
vowel or a consonant.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's the first letter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
gender of the noun.
Yeah, the gender. Very good. Yeah, the gender. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, very important. What else? The case. We were just talking about that. Whether it's nominative, prepositional, or genitive. Okay. And one more. The number.
Oh,
Singular, plural. Okay. All right. So all these help determine the what form the takes, and also what sometimes it even changes the noun itself, changes the spelling of the noun. Okay, all right. So so whether it's on or okay. Anyway, but we'll circle back to that. Anyway, so these are just something that we have to look for. Okay, so that's just an aside. Okay, so what we want to do here, this is the simple form. Okay, so Bort. Do you remember what gender Bort is?
Masculine.
Masculine. So it'd be on board. We want to fill in with more, form of more. So
more,
More.
more.
Yeah, on board more. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. A crek. Now, crek is what gender do we think?
Feminine.
Feminine. So it would be a crek
Vor.
Four.
Four.
or. Yeah. Okay. Nabursht. So this is
Plural.
a plural.
Plural.
So it would
Gamora.
be more. Very good. Or edivort. Now, bort is masculine, and this is in the prepositional. And so it'd be edivort.
More.
Vor.
More. Very good. Yeah, we see it's not as hard as it looks. And crek.
Quick.
This is in the preposition. Crek. So it'd be crek. Is feminine. So it'd be crek.
Four.
More.
More. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
more. Oh,
Yeah.
the
No,
one
no,
is
no, no,
different.
no.
Uh-huh.
More. Bore.
Four.
Yeah.
No.
It takes on the slenderization. Okay. Krek.
Okay.
Erna Burst.
There's more.
Mora. Very good. Yeah, that's easy. That's the easy one. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Or Kas averst. Oh wait. Yeah. Kas averst. Leg of the tables would be
Vor.
More.
No, I'm sorry. Leg of the table would be
More.
There's more. It's not
vor.
more.
Vor.
Vor. Oh,
Vor. Yeah.
more.
Yeah. The genitive masculine is tricky. It picks up the
Masculine.
um
What?
it picks up the lenition. You might say it's it's transgender. Okay, it switches with the feminine. Okay, all right. Dana Kreka. So this would be so right here you have a hint what the gender
plural.
is. Well, right here. No, that's no. Oh, I forgot to. Nah, yeah, that's the. What would there be? Nah, so that would be plural. Oh, and so genitive. I'm going to put this. Okay, because you have na of the feminine. Okay. So right here, so you see nakreka, okay, and it's color of the rock, feminine. And so what would be the feminine adjective?
Mura?
Very good. More.
More.
Yeah. More. Yeah. Da nakreka more. Okay, so the genitive, you see, so here we have an example of the switching between the masculine and the feminine. Okay, the masculine picks up the lenition and in the genitive, and the feminine drops it. So kasen bort. Okay, so bort right here is this is in the plural. How do you know it's in the plural?
Nam.
Nam, very good. Yeah, and that's the Mother Bakes Fine Pies rule, right? Nam bort. So that's in the plural. And what's the adjective for the plural?
Mora.
Mora. Yeah, very good. Yeah, all right, very good. All right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll we're going to come back to this next week. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to pound this into your brains. And after that, we will go on to the other things that we discussed wanting to cover. All right. Okay. So, so we have a little, and so of course now, if you want to this coming week, you can go through these and work through these. But we'll come back and I'll refresh the lecture next week, and and then we'll go over some more of the exercises. Now, I'm going to pause for 1 second, okay, because I do have something kind of fun coming up, okay? So, because I know this is kind of tough, and so we have something that's a little fun. We have a little movie time, a little story time, okay? Don't be dismayed if you don't get this right away, because I'll tell you, it is complicated, all right? Okay, so I would be greatly surprised. Well, if one of you said, "Oh, I read it and it's fine," I got it, and I go, "Okay, well, okay," but that's not the case. I mean, it is complicated. Okay, and it goes along with the 60 different ways to say the. In English, we have just one way to say the. We say the. Sometimes we say of the, but but essentially it's the. All right, and Gaelic, and no the changes the noun. In Gaelic, that's different. So there's 60 different combinations, and we'll go back over that. But right now, since I've launched into the adjectives, we'll, at least we'll get a start on those. And then we'll go to the, and then what else did I say? I said the and the genitive, and then we'll go to the genitive. Okay, so let me make a note of that. And I want to thank you guys because you've made my job so much easier. Okay. Genitive and the. Okay, so I have a lesson for the genitive and for the. Okay, so all right. So now this is kind of interesting because we've spent a lot of time, maybe up to this time in the in our learning, dealing with various forms of the verb. Now, in some ways, we're switching to the nouns, and if the adjectives adhere to the nouns, we'll do that. We're doing that as well. So we're switching a little bit to the nouns. All right. Okay. Very good. Okay. All right. So let me I'm going to go back to share.
Tim have a question?
Tim?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Tim, go ahead.
Yep.
Do you have a question, Tim?
No.
Oh, I'm
okay.
sorry. Your hand was up.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was thinking either you're asking a question or you're drowning. I don't know.
I know. I was going to say,
I
is he
hope I'm
in
not
danger?
drowning, so no.
Do we need to call 911 for
Yeah.
him?
Call the lifeguard. Okay. Okay. Neither one. Okay. All right. Okay. Leva. All right. Okay. So let's go to what we have next. I'm going to go to share screen and okay. All right. So, and we have a lot more to go through. So this material will be repeated next week. All right.
Okay.
And a lot of exercises to go through, and we'll go back over some of the material. All right. All right. So now we'll go to story time. Okay. And we have a song as well, as usual. Okay. So, and this should be Sgeulachdan na Seachdaine. Okay. Sgeulachdan na Seachdaine. Stories of the week. Star-crossed lovers in Gaelic legend, mythology and legend. So we're going to take a look at a couple of classic Gaelic love stories. These are stories that the Scottish Gaels inherited from the ancient Gaels who had settled in Ireland and colonized Scotland. Okay, so as we know, our Gaelic forebears came from Ireland, settled in Scotland, and spread the Gaelic culture. Okay, and these stories were told in ancient Ireland and modern Ireland. From time to time, somebody redoes these stories. In novels or plays or whatnot. Okay, in the Gaelic context, sometimes in English. But following that tradition. And these stories we're not just reaching back into ancient Ireland. These stories were actually spread into Scotland and were collected as a part of oral literature in Scotland. So the people told the stories amongst themselves, and we have to remember that the stories and the songs that we nowadays read or sometimes hear people perform for hundreds of years or 1,000 years were passed through the oral tradition. That is, they were spoken. And fireside, home céilís and céilí houses and villages across the Gaeltacht. People told these stories and sang these songs, and the literature was passed from mouth to ear, generation over generation. And as an example of this, not one of these stories, but I did a study of one such story that we have a written record. Now, when these stories are written down, it's like a story is written down every couple hundred years or something like that, because writing wasn't that common, right? But there's one story that was written down, and we have a record of it more than 1,000 years ago, about 800, about in the 800s, a written version from the 800s in Ireland, and then versions of it in Scotland through the 1700s. See, so these stories were passed orally. There's an example. We have a written record of it being passed orally, and the written part was that people would like go to somebody's cottage and say, well, somebody told me that this story, and the person would tell the story, and then the researcher would write it down. Okay, so these stories are passed over thousands of years. Okay, so anyway, so here we have two such stories, and as I say here, a recurring theme in Gaelic stories, One theme, okay, is the tragedy of forced marriages. Okay, so there wasn't a tradition in Gaelic culture of what some cultures had in terms of arranged marriages. Okay, and these stories seem to exist as a warning against denying couples free choice, especially against older men, either fathers or older suitors, forcing young women into undesirable marriages that is not desired by the women. Okay. Unlike in some cultures where arranged marriages were common, Gaelic culture had a strong aversion to such arrangements. Okay, and more forced than arranged. Okay, so strong that there's multiple stories against them that warn about them, warn about the tragedy involved in them. And two of the most famous stories I go into here. Okay, so here I have to switch to my PDF. Where do I have this? Okay, so I have a PDF. Okay, hold on one second. I gotta call it up. Okay, well, where are we? What? Deirdre. Okay, here we go. So here's perhaps the more famous one, Deirdre of the Sorrows. Okay. In Tara, the court of the high kings of ancient Ireland. And I assume you can all see this, right?
Yes.
Okay, Gleba. Okay. Before her birth, Deirdre let out a cry from her mother's womb. The scream so alarmed everyone that the king summoned Cathbad the Druid. Cathbad prophesied that the child would become the most beautiful woman of all of Ireland. But many brave warriors would die fighting because of her. The king ordered the baby to be taken away, and to be cared for by an old woman in a cottage in the country where no man would ever see her. Oh, I got to correct that spelling there. Nor she any man. And years later, when she had grown, Deirdre dreamed of her hero. Nurse, what was that strange person I saw in my dream? Just a figment of your imagination, nothing more. Oh, I wish I could do voices. Just a figment of your imagination, my dear, nothing more. Okay. All right. And one day Deirdre heard hunters shout in the forest. Nurse, what was that sound? Only the cry of birds in the air. Okay. All right. But one day Deirdre came upon a hunter sleeping in the woods. It was Nusha, son of Uisnech. He awoke and saw her, the most beautiful woman in Ireland, and they fell in love. And meanwhile, a messenger hurried to the king with news of the beautiful woman in the forest. Blabbermouth. And the king wanted this woman for himself. He sent his warriors out to find her and bring her back. Deirdre and Nusha fled. They crossed mighty rivers. And with Nusha's 3 brothers, they sailed away from Ireland to Scotland. and so here we have kind of a mythological telling of the crossing the sea from Ireland to Scotland, because actually they settled in Argyll, which is where the first Gaelic kingdom was established. So sometimes stories recapitulate history and make it personal. And there in Argyll, near Loch Etive, and I've got to mention Loch Etive because it's where the Clan MacIntyre hung out for a time. Okay, they lived for a while in peace and happiness. The king got word of where they were and sent a message to them, promising them forgiveness and a safe return. But when they returned, the king betrayed them. He ordered his warriors to attack them. Nush and his brothers fought the army of the king, and many men died, just as had been foretold. And Nush and his brothers were slain. And the king kidnapped Deirdre. As they were passing high cliffs, she threw herself from the chariot and died. The king angrily ordered the bodies of the two lovers to be buried apart on opposite sides of a river. But two trees grew up and intertwined their branches. The old nurse mourned, Deirdre is dead, Nush is dead, and the oaks and the stars could die of sorrow. And the souls of Deirdre and Nush and his brothers rose up into the heavens into what is called, in English, the Milky Way. But to the Gaels, their journey across the night sky is known as the Path of the Sons of Uisnech, or Sgeulachdan Uisnech. Sgeulachdan Uisnech. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. So that's the sorrows of Deirdre. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I've got a short video for us. And this is a similar story. So you'll see the repetition of the motif. And it's interesting in that, so not only, so when you're looking at ancient stories, what becomes very important, or you can see what is very important to the culture in motifs that are repeated. And this, you'll see, is one that is repeated in Gaelic culture. Okay, so let's go here. Legitimate is Gràinne.
Is mise Gràinne, níon an ardrí.
Okay, can you hear it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you have the Gaelic. Try to hear the Gaelic. And then you have the subtitles underneath, okay?
Hánig na féin wá a bhain. Ons gon pásing fian ma chuan. Bevor an turum, chunt mi le gare. Is hiliad a bhale dem regartéin. Ik kamp na féin wa fian na haaf. Truach, bránach, in sé bás a bhná. Gré fáilte neoch Gràinne. Agus é brúadar níise nu bheithe úr. Bála an tara wa féis mórán. Churach crún bhar mo chin. Is hánig na huasin as a hula cearn. A chúis réiteach idir fian is mí. Wa crack is ceágan, wa spáir se sound. Achas mi bháin bráin is crack an chan. Wádras gyn rofian is hwyd doi. Di Janin poster I botoch grate. Yn nuarsyn chwnig mi diar na tau. Yn gas goch ba alwynja chwnig mi ria. Hwts mi an gyrl, nyr a lai mo hwylir. Gors mi joch is dais a chwylch. Gifts y dreioch do hen is og. Golfi yn ma chwyl Is like a goed mijn koerst. Mijn koerst. Is mijn koerst. Is mijn koerst. Is mijn koerst. A hiermats, huurt me voor Jezevu. Ges nach bris gaske gebraag. Kem vallen wilijm zijn dorgetes. Mis duisk viel mag hua. En nu er zijn hanik en is. Chia grai. Ne giften sjo de hiermats e waak. Boos tapi is daar je dreioch. Jure gusk fi ma chua, bevoren hou, van jerk mun tje heich. Jerich ne feen, is gala viet lenich, gan schuel fek ne tjire. En shalak is a shirach o voch gedu. Mi heen is diermet, is a girl a faas. Ach han ik vier ma chua naar kar. Scharut o las aking van me feen. Galvan Uslein, de dreig slaan. Is beter vier met sapasje de jaun heen. De kurfemen er sleen, kleine leen moor. Ash hem heen, is geheim shinorn.
All right, there we go.
Mm.
All right, so that's the story of Genimatis Grania, and of course you recognize the similarities in the stories. So so anyway, okay.
Mm.
All right, so keeping along that theme, I thought we'd go to Her Misha Yantai Kadischach. Okay. Okay. Her Maher Misha Yantai Kadischach. My father sent me, father Maher, okay, Hur sent Misha me to the house of sorrow.
Wow.
Okay, to the house of sorrow. Okay, so the lines repeat, and we have these vocables. Okay, and so those you just kind of pick up as we go through. But why don't we take a look at the lines themselves? Her maher misha, her maher
Misha.
yatai kadishcha.
Taigh.
Yeah. Okay, my father sent me to the house of sorrow. Her maher misha yantai kadishcha. Anaikashin arain he vanishko.
No, Aikashin Rain Baranishko.
Okay. The night he arranged a marriage for me. Okay. Anaikashin arain he vanishko. Okay. Anaikashin arain he vanishko. Getrug ari nach be Mallory.
Gutrul Ray nach be
Mallory. Okay, it's a pity, Lord, and right here, Lord as in God, kind of praying to God. Oh God, I wish, okay, it's a pity. So that it wasn't my funeral wake. So, so saying what, I mean, that she would have rather it had been her funeral than her marriage. Gertrude nach be Mallory.
Very
Mallory.
Good. Mundo vrish malav an tarango.
Well, then Prismala and Talon,
Or my hand broke the bread for me. Okay. Mundo vrish malav an tarango. And so here we see in the next stanza too, we see a custom very similar to what we have in America in marriages today, cutting the cake, right?
Oh.
Mundo rain moskian be agerechko.
Mundo rain moskian be
agerechko.
Yeah.
Before my knife cut the food for me. Mundo rain before Moskian, my knife, big, food,
Yeah.
cut for me. Mondorain, Moskian, big, agerach.
Very machine be the year.
Yehen Kriya,
Yeah.
Yehen
Priya.
Yeah.
Here.
Dear Sean, non sul socher
Okay.
of the kind eyes. Okay, of the kind eyes. Hadovata noch snaportov.
The Fàilte knocks up.
The port. Your boat is tonight in the port. So here we have an image. Remember, a lot of these are like telegraphed. Okay, so they're, so it's not a novel. We don't get all the details, but we can picture Sean of the kind eyes waiting with the boat, with the little sailboat, in the port, waiting for her. She's going to slip out the window, and Sean's waiting outside in the car. Okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sna, is that, I haven't seen, is that, so in
Sna?
yeah, in,
Right there, sna. What is that what you're talking about? Huh?
yes,
Yeah. Ounce on.
ounce, okay. That's,
Ounce on portive. It's a contraction.
okay, that was what I was asking.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay. Och maha chanili soker.
Omaha Ha'ili Soker.
Okay. Oh, but then it is not calm. The weather's not calm. Och maha chaneli soker. Okay. The weather's not calm, and so there's no way to get away. And then she adds, Nachro ugoil natoshek. Weren't you love my first choice? Okay. Yeah, Toshik. So here we have the other side. I mean, not the other side, but but another case of of a forced marriage, and she's not able to get away with her loved one. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right. Okay.
Sgeulachdan taigh Gràinne sin Gràinne bhailsco sin Gràinne bhailsco Gortragarin Madari Margarina Madari Mandadrich Moldavan Hariga the Vrish Malav Haringa Irvia Andre Muskian Birga Yarga Skian Birga Yarga Irvia and then you create and so soft Nam soccer Advaten ochsne poste, Ahivoro. Advaten ochsne poste, Hiri Ma Manye Sabe,
Okay. There we go. Okay. Let me go back here. All right. Okay. Beautiful, although sad song. But some of the best Gaelic songs are sad. Some of the most beautiful Gaelic songs are sad. So anyway. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So so that's about it for tonight. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, were you gonna say something, Pat? Okay. So we will come back to what we talked about tonight, and hopefully over time it'll become more clear, especially when we start putting it together with the other parts that we're going to tackle over the next few weeks. Okay. All right. Okay.
Great.
So if you have any questions, be sure to contact me. Otherwise, Himishiv and I heck.
Jerry.
Jerry.
Dankjewel.
God bless.
Jerry.